Hey everybody, it's Lisa Quilting in the Valley, and we are going to make our witch and our ghost today. Actually, I'm going to show you how to make the witch face as two separate pieces. So you're going to make one for her hat and one for her face. So, to make her face, you're going to take your 10-inch circle and a pencil. So she has got kind of fat cheeks, so we're going to just draw like that. And then I'm going to shift this over, and you can see about how far I shifted it. So about like that. You got about a 2.5 inch overlap over here. So I shifted it over like so. And then to get the kind of pointy chin at the bottom here, I've actually taken a glass. And I'm gonna put that right down there and make my pointy chin right around my glass, and then I will join that with the rest. So that's my little pointy chinned witch.
And I think it says right sides together.
And the next piece we're going to do is her hat. Okay, so in the description portion of this video, you're going to find a link that you can download these two pieces of paper. And when you put them together, they're going to make the template to outline your hat. So here's going to be our hat. Okay, the other thing you're going to find in that download section is going to be this piece of paper. So this piece of paper is going to have the little outline for your eyes and the mouth, for your ghost, and then at the bottom it's got the nose, the eyes, and the mouth for the witch. So there's your nose, eyes, and your mouth for the witch. I've also added a little triangle nose that we're going to do on the scarecrow, because I'm going to show you how to turn the witch face into a scarecrow when we stitch this along. Before we get to that, I am going to just briefly show you how to do the ghost. The ghost is just a circle at the top, and then you're going to bring him down, kind of curve him out on this side, and then make him wavy at the bottom. That's it for the ghost. The ghost is pretty simple. All right, let's go stitch up a scarecrow. Okay, so here we are with our scarecrow. We're going to make it into a scarecrow. Just a reminder, we started out as the witch. So if you're going to make the witch, you're going to have 2-inch strips, green 2-inch strips. And then for the hat, it's black 2-inch strips. And you're just literally going to lay them one down on the other and strip piece them. Quilt as you go. So let's do this with the scarecrow fabrics. All right, so I've got creams and greens chosen. Creams and creams chosen for the scarecrow. The very first thing I did, by the way, was I sewed this down to my background fabric, and that gives me a reference point to trim this down once I get all these strips sewn on. So let's start with our strips. I'm going to lay this across, ensuring that it is fully covering my stitch line. And then I'll put another one right next to it. And it is important to make sure that you have enough up here that when this flips, it's going to cover this line. Okay? And then we're just going to stitch that down. Like so. Do not trim that off until you've pushed it over and then you can trim it, making sure you cover all of your lines. So go ahead, finger press that out, and then you can come in here and trim that, and you know it's going to cover all of your stitch lines. Okay, and then we're going to get another piece on, do the same thing. Okay, we're going to press that out and then trim it. So always finger press it first, then trim it. And I'm going to put another strip on until I've covered the whole thing. So I will be back once I have this whole thing covered. Okay, so I've got this whole thing strip pieced across my sewn line. I'm going to flip it upside down, and now I'm going to stitch on that original stitch line for my outline. So I am just sewing along this. By the way, I did not mention that I am using Insulbright for this. If you use the Quilter Select product, it's not called Insulbright. I forget what it's called, but it's the same thing. And this will make it so that you can use it as a hot pad, or you can use it as a placemat, or anything that you want for your table. So it took 1/3 of a yard of fabric for the backing, and then 2-inch strips. I had 5 different fabrics, 2-inch strips of each, and then I have 2 1/4 inch binding strips. Okay, so this is my top piece, and I am now going to trim this really close to the edge, about 1/8 of an inch away from my stitch line. Just 1/8 of an inch. Okay, this last strip just barely covered, but that is okay. So you can see right here, it's not sewn down. It's not a big deal because the binding is going to go over there. So nobody cares.
And then scroll down, and you don't find her.
Okay, well, I've seen the video of the first, what she looks like on there, so that'll help.
Okay.
Eventually, or I'll scream.
You don't want you screaming.
Oh, I'll scream. No, I really want to get it done, because I really.
Okay.
And hers turned out so.
So now I got the face done. And save those extra pieces of Insulbright, by the way. You can use those for other things. And then I'm going to do the hat. So again, I've got it stitched down on my drawn line, got my backing on it, and I've got my brown strips that I'm going to make the hat for my scarecrow. I'll be back when that's done. You don't need to watch me do that. Okay, so I have gone ahead and I finished the hat and put the binding on the hat. I have my binding sewn on the front of the face, and now I'm going to flip it to the back, and I'm going to stitch in the ditch and sew that on by machine. Now, I did not cut bias binding. You could. You absolutely could. I did not. And I don't know if if you can hear my machine or not, but it is telling me it is thirsty. I need to stop and oil my machine. And if you're watching me doing this, you're seeing that I'm not pinning. You can pin. Do what makes you happy.
Writing it's not real even.
I just don't do a lot of pinning, so no big deal. So I am just stopping every little bit and making sure everything is pushed to the back. So I will catch it. I did use 2 1/4 inch binding. 2 1/4 inch is easier to navigate around some of the curves than 2 1/2 inch is. So I would recommend that. And if you're really worried about it, then by all means do a bias binding. Nothing to prevent you from doing that.
Figuring out how they wanted those straps and adding the hardware.
Now that I didn't have any trouble with.
Then what they do is they have
I'm on the top part of his head, which is actually not going to be visible because I'm going to put his hat on him. And there he goes. Okay.
Yeah, there's room for improvement there.
So now I'm going to put his hat on him.
And if I decide it's too bad, I have to.
There he goes, like so. And I'm actually going to just stitch in the ditch right in this binding line right across here.
I mean, if you really didn't want, then I can just.
And that'll attach him. Like so. And then we're gonna go right across the, let's see, no I'm not. I don't want a stitch line to show. You know what, I'm gonna leave that open. I did that on the witch. She's just attached in the one place and she's fine. So I don't want a stitch line across his hat. Okay, I am going to go use some Steam-A-Seam Light to make his face. I'll be back. All right, so I have put the eyes on. I used the template sheet that again is going to be located for you to download in the description portion of this video to make the 2 eyes. These are the same eyes I used for the ghost. The mouth is the same as I used for the ghost, and I just put a little orange nose on him. This would be really cute if you had like some yarn or something, some like blonde yarn you could put in between the hat and the face, and then it would look like straw hanging out. I didn't have any, so whatever. I just made mine like this. But here is Scarecrow. Here is the witch. She has the witch nose. And then of course you have the ghost. The ghost is made the exact same way that these are. Put your strips on, applique it, put your binding on. That's all there is to it. Make lots. Post them on our Quilting in the Valleys fan creations page on Facebook. We love to see your stuff. See ya.